Jeff Jarrett in the ring right now with the Shadow as CWA Championship Wrestling is underway. Referee Jerry Calhoun watching the goings-on. Jeff Jarrett drops down and covers. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Jarrett gets things going with a win here today. And a good one over the Shadow. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Brown along ringside here. We've got a big CWA Championship Wrestling show for you today. We are going to have the information later on in the program about the Cyclone Stampede you've been hearing about. Coming up today, Robert Fuller, Brian Lee will be here. Detroit Demolition, Humongous will be here, too. That and lots more coming up on Championship Wrestling. And very important announcement. Before we went on the air, Jeff Jarrett says he has a very important announcement which will be made not by him, but by Gentleman Jimmy Golden. It has to do with this thing with Robert Fuller, and Fuller claiming that the territory really belongs to the Fullers and not the Jarretts and all of that sort of thing. I thought the whole thing had been cleared up when Jeff brought the documents out, but Fuller just won't let it drop. So Jeff says Jimmy Golden should be here today to clear up the whole matter once and for all. We'll be back with Championship Wrestling in a moment. Jeff Jarrett got a quick victory over the Shadow. Hear the music. There he is. Jeff Jarrett coming out right now. As we told you, Jeff coming out here, he's going to be bringing Jimmy Golden out to make the big announcement and kind of clear up all this matter that's been going on, the Fullers versus the Jarrett.
Well, Dave, I really don't know what to say. You know, I came to you early about 30 minutes ago, and I told you to make the announcement that Jimmy Golden would be here. Mm-hmm. You know, last week on this show, Robert came out. He said that he was going to have a guy out here, so I knew I had to come prepared. And I thought all week I didn't know what to do, but lo and behold, Jimmy Golden, he gave me a call up. He said, Jeff, I've heard a lot of the talk that Robert's been saying, the different stuff he's been saying about the ownership of the territories. I want to come down and clear it up because I know the real truth. I said, oh, Jimmy, I'd be more than happy for you to come down. I'll buy your plane ticket, whatever. I'll pay for your room. It doesn't, you know, just whatever to get you down here. He said, don't worry about it, Jeff. I'll be there. Well, the time has come, Dave, and I guess all I can say is they got me. He said he'd be here, and he's not. But Robert Fuller, I do want to tell you this. If I can't talk my way out of this and prove to you and prove to the people the real truth, then I'm just going to take it in my own hands. Now, Dutch Mantell's been hollering and screaming about a CWA title shot. And he went to Eddie Marlin and said, what can I do to get a title shot? And he came to me and I said, I'll sign a title match. But on that, make an extra stipulation. Make it a loser leave town. Make it where if I beat Mantell, pin his shoulders to the mat, 1, 2, 3, he's got to leave town. Well, Dutch wouldn't sign it. And I said, well, that's okay. That's fine. Mantell, you show up and I'll give you this CWA title shot because I'm going to take you to the stud stable out one by one. The Dirty White Boy, Detroit Demolition, Action Jackson, Dutch Mantell, and you, kingpin of them all, Robert Fuller. I'm going to go through them one by one, Dave, and that's a promise.
Well, Jeff, maybe that's the best thing to do. And I'm sorry about the thing with Jimmy Golden because we had looked for it. Again, I said we thought we had it cleared up anyway, but that would have been nice to have Golden to tell us exactly what happened. Let's go to the ring right now. We've got there's more music. Dirty Dutch Mantell coming in here. There he is out of Oil Trough, Texas, 229 pounds. In the ring, he's going to be going against Deuce Mason out of Pensacola, Florida. Mason's been here a couple of times before. Mantell, of course, has been here hundreds of times. This will be a one-fall, 10-minute time limit match. Jerry Calhoun is the referee. Here we go. Mantell has to be... Dutch had something to say to the crowd along the way. They weren't too happy about it either. I don't know what he told them. Mantell has to be considered the favorite here. He's going against a big guy in Deuce Mason. Don't know a lot about Mason, but I do understand he has a background in football. So he does have some athletic background, no doubt about it. Look at that. Background in beating people up is what Dutch Mantell has. Well, he got him in the eyes, poked him in the eyes. It shoves the referee back. Referee pushes him back. Way to go, Jerry. Mantell flirting with a $1,000 fine, shoving that referee around like that. Mantell around behind, working on the pressure points from the side of the neck. Possible submission, but Dutch doesn't stay on it very long. Instead, he elects to use that right fist. 1 minute into the action. Mantell throws Mason out of the ring down onto the floor. That was through the ropes. Over the top rope, down here on the floor, nails Deuce Mason with a right fist down in front of the table here. Referee tolling the count. He's at 4, and Mantell throws Mason back into the ring. Yeah, Dutch says, yeah, we want, how about it? Aren't I doing good? Few people in the crowd agreed with him. Dutch Mantell really working on Deuce Mason here. Mason on his feet, throws a right hand. Here it comes. Look at him go against Dutch Mantell, not backing up from him at all. Oh, my goodness gracious. He missed a drop kick by about 8 feet. And a mistake like that will cost you in almost every match, especially when you're going against a guy like Dutch Mantell. Mantell losing no time in seizing the initiative, taking control of the match. He had it early. And here's a cover. 1, 2. Yeah, he got him this time. Dutch Mantell, the tough veteran, capitalizes on a serious mistake made by Deuce Mason and converts it into a victory in 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Now, coming out here right now, Robert Fuller with Sylvia. Celebration. Yeah, and he won it. He won it, no doubt about it.
Every time. You know something, Jeff Jarrett? I heard Fair Fawcett calling for you out in the back, boy, somewhere. You better get out there and talk to her. Man, are you living in a fantasy dreamland, punk? Let me tell you something. You think my beloved cousin would spend 10 seconds of his time fooling with you? You got a wrong thing coming, son. A lot of these dudes out here think that me and Jimmy Golden's got some differences because we're not tag team anymore. Baby, our family sticks together. And you think, Jared, you're going to be able to come out, baby, and strum up a bunch of lies and get Jimmy Golden a bad name in front of all these people? That's a great big joke. Because you're standing right where you was before, by yourself. You ain't got no stable. You don't have a bunch of good men that believe in you and who are organized, baby, behind you. I do. And I got one of them right here. And I'm talking about a man that you want to challenge in a loser leave town. I don't believe that, Dutch. Who made these challenges for loser leave town?
Robert, I want you to be a witness for me. Robert, did we ask Eddie Marlin or not? Say, I want a shot. I don't care what it is. Make it a loser leave town. What did Eddie Marlin do? He liked to drop dead of a heart attack.
The death that punk was going to be run out of here.
And I said, I almost got down on my hands and knees like this.
You did.
And I says, Eddie, please make it a loser leave town. He said, I can't do it, Dutch, because Jeffrey might lose. That's right, Jeffrey might lose. So when he comes out here and says, he asked for nothing. And I'm going to tell you what, I've had sleepless nights and long days thinking about my belt that Jeff Jarrett stole from me right here on this television just a short while ago. And it's a proven fact, Jeff Jarrett is a thief, like his daddy, like his mama, like everybody else in his whole family. But I'm going to tell you, when you thieve, it comes back to you. And when I get you in the ring, Jeff Jarrett, it's going to be for my belt, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to be like Tone Loc. I'm going to say, let's do it.
The man is going to take that punk out. But I'll tell you something. I'm not going to get violent. I'm going to get right down to the edge of thought here, baby. I'm going to give you a man, and I'm going to tell you who it is right now. Nick Goulis. That's going to sound my side of this story and going to tell you exactly what happened, and it ain't too long. I'm not going to whine and cry about it. I'm going to laugh my way all the way to the bank with my beloved CWA. Let's get out of here.
Lies and half-truths from Fuller and Mantell and Sylvia there. We'll take a break. We've got more of CWA Championship Wrestling coming up.
Coming in May, the Renegade Cyclone Stampede.
I'm Roger Webb with Championship Wrestling with a reminder that on Sunday, May 7th, we're going to be in Cannleton, Indiana, right there at the gym at 3 p.m., sponsored by the JCs. You can pick up your tickets at the Lewisport IGA, the Cannleton Bank, Citizens Bank of Tell City, Kentucky. Also, pick up your tickets at the Tell City National Bank. You're going to see Dutch Mantell, Jeff Jarrett, and a big Cyclone Stampede match. Then this Wednesday, Owensboro Sports Center, listen to this card. A big CWA tag title match. You're going to see the Mason-Dixon connection against Brian Lee, Robert Fuller, and Sylvia. A big CWA title match between Jeff Jarrett and Dutch Mantell. The big main event of the evening, it's going to be a lights-out match. No time limit, no disqualification. Humongous against the Master Payne and Roddy P. Gossett IV. Tracy Smothers will be in town for this one.
That's right, Tracy's back, and he's 100%. We're going to be in Cannleton May 7th, and I hope to God you're there, Robert Fuller, because I'll tell you something. Me and Tracy have a score to settle with you. Right there in Owensboro, we got a title match. And it's not just going to be a title match. It's going to be payback time for Brian Lee and Robert Fuller. Tell him, Tracy. Hold this right here. Let me tell you something, Robert Fuller. You thought it was over, didn't you? You think you bloodied me up and you dropped me on my head and you think I'm all done? You're wrong, Daddy. I'm a southern-born, southern-bred, thoroughbred. Guaranteed not to rust, bust, collect dust, bend, break, or splinter. And it'll be a cold day in July before a bunch of nothing happening, slimy, lying bunch of weasels put this old country boy down. In Owensboro, Kentucky, you come out here talking about how big and bad your stable is. Well, I'm going to lay it on you like this, Jack. We ain't 6'7" and we ain't 300 pounds, but the good Lord gave us 2 fists and a body full of guts, and we never back down from no human on this earth. So you show up in Owensboro because I'm going to return the favor. I will guarantee you that, so be there.
And that's this Wednesday in Owensboro, Kentucky.
One fall, 10-minute time limit match coming up here. Robert Fuller up at ringside talking to one of the newer members of the stud stable, Detroit Demolition, 315-pounder out of Detroit, Michigan. Sylvia also over in that corner. Across the way, out of Memphis, Tennessee, David Johnson. David weighs in at 203 pounds, and I'm afraid maybe very much overmatched here today, giving away over 100 pounds to Detroit Demolition. Demolition, since he's been around here, has really beaten up some people. Look at David Johnson, though, coming back. Johnson with a headbutt. Maybe size isn't everything, huh? And Demolition with a headbutt of his own puts David Johnson down to the mat. Johnson fired into the rope. And Demolition with a clothesline. Demolition slides a knee off the forehead. David Johnson tried to hit him with a right fist. It was partially blocked by Demolition. Upper arm. David Johnson again hits the mat. Demolition going for that variation on the Japanese sleeper that he's so fond of. Well, he's made this work, let me tell you. In match after match. Referee's checking. Looks like this one's over. All right. Ring the bell, says the referee. David Johnson, a victim of that Japanese sleeper variation that Detroit Demolition has just put on him. And now there he is, glaring at the camera with that painted up area around his eyes and everything. Referee trying to help David Johnson out of Johnson, waking up very, very slowly as he leaves the ring area right now. Detroit Demolition, 1:23 gets the victory. Hey, we got some folks that they're going to be coming back to arenas around the territory in the coming weeks. Take a look at them. I'm talking about Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond, Bad Company.
Rebel
Roger Webb with Championship Wrestling. Championship Wrestling will be in Cannleton, Indiana on Sunday, May 7th at the gym right there. Ring time, 3 p.m. Sponsored by the JCs. Pick up your tickets at the Lewisport IGA, the Cannleton Bank, Citizens Bank of Tell City, Kentucky, the Tell City National Bank. You'll see Dutch Mantell, Jeff Jarrett, and a big Cyclone Stampede match. Then tonight, Owensboro, Kentucky, 8 p.m. at the Owensboro Sports Center. Listen to this. A big CWA tag title match between the Mason-Dixon Connection, Brian Lee, Robert Fuller with Sylvia. A big CWA title match between Jeff Jarrett and Dutch Mantell. Listen to this big main event match. It's a good one. Lights out match. No time limit. No disqualification. Humongous versus the big Master Paid. And yes, Ronnie P. Gossett IV will be at ringside. Don't miss it. That's this Wednesday, Owensboro, Kentucky at the Sports Center.
Standing in the ring right now, waiting their opponents. Here they come. Stud Stable, at least part of the Stud Stable. Robert Fuller and Brian Lee. Sylvia is going to be in their corner. Sylvia with a kendo stick. He's ever present at ringside when Fuller's out here, of course. Tag team match coming up here. Robert Fuller and Brian Lee. Boy, a couple of big guys. They weigh in at about 501 pounds total weight. Fuller, the Tennessee stud out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Brian Lee out of Orlando, Florida. His opponent, Frankie Lancaster, out of Tampa, Florida. And, of course, Chris Frazier out of the state of Mississippi. One fall, 10-minute time limit tag team match. We're waiting for a signal from the referee. Yeah, there we go. Bell's a little sick over here. It has sounded, however. Brian Lee taking Frankie the Thumper Lancaster down to the mat. A couple of good athletes facing each other here. Lancaster and Lee. Lee with a size advantage. Robert Fuller with some words of encouragement for Brian Lee. Referee Jerry Calhoun warning Fuller to stay in the corner. Under tag team rules, you have to stay in the corner and keep at least one hand on the turnbuckle. Sometimes people like Fuller disregard that rule, however. Boy, Brian Lee nailed him with a big right hand across the chest. It didn't faze Lancaster. Lancaster glared at him as he came walking off those ropes. Robert Fuller was telling Lee, hey, good job. You really hurt him that time. Lancaster steps over and popped Brian Lee in the back of the head. As if to say, look, you want to play rough? I can do it too. Fuller jumped in there and complained to the referee about his man being hit from behind. It was legal. Frankie Lancaster back under the ropes. Brian Lee fires him across the ropes. Lancaster getting it going here. Small package lead out on the mat. Count of one, but he can't hold it. One count's all he got. Lancaster quickly puts the shoulders down again. This time again he gets a one count. Brian Lee moving across the ring, leaning outside the ropes and wants the referee to step in between them. Hey, wait a minute. I'm halfway out of the ring here. Brian Lee stays in there. Frankie Lancaster over to the corner, makes the tag on Chris Frazier. Chris with the least experience of any of the wrestlers in the ring right now, and also the smallest. Now Fuller comes in after the tag. They double-teamed on that exchange. Frazier rammed into the ring post, into the turnbuckles, rather. Now Fuller puts that big boot to the midsection. Back jumping up and down on him. Brian Lee takes over again after the tag. Frazier staggered here by Brian Lee. Lee throwing that right forearm at him. Frazier trying to work his way to the corner and get the tag on Frankie Lancaster. He got it. The referee didn't see it. Referee was trying to get Fuller back outside, and he sent Frankie Lancaster back outside. Frazier needed that tag. There's a suplex by Brian Lee. Leaves Frazier lying in the middle of the ring, climbs the rope. And springing down, 1, 2, he got him. 3 minutes, 39 seconds, and Robert Fuller and Brian Lee are going to walk out of here with a victory over Frankie Lancaster and Chris Frazier. I tell you, that missed tag was very, very costly as Lancaster was unable to get in there due to Fuller's.
Let's get my whole stable out here. Let me have all my boys out here.
We've got enough right now, I think, Robert.
You know, I heard about Tracy's mother. That's a touching moment. I know the crowds are real happy about it. Tracy's mother showing back up. I just hope Tracy's mother don't turn out like Jimmy Golden and be a no-show. But if he does, I don't know how long Tracy's mother's going to be healthy. Boy, I got y'all out here because I want to talk to you a little bit about my beloved CWA. This territory that belongs to me. I got a piece of film here, baby. It clears up everything, Jeff Jerry. It shows your daddy as a lying, stinking thief that he is. And rather than me stand here and babble, baby, put it on.
All right, let's see it.
Being a third-generation wrestler, having been the son of my father, Buddy Fuller, the son of Roy Welch, ran this thing for years and years and years, and established himself, along with this gentleman I'm sitting next to who needs no introduction, but I'm going to tell you, this is the great Nick Goulis, probably the greatest promoter of all time. I am privileged today to be sitting here beside this man and to clear up a very important problem, because everyone knows that I've told them weeks ago that CWA belongs to my family, and I maintain to get it back. I want to clear up the issue right now of what kind of man Jerry Jarrett is. Does he belong in CWA, or did he steal it? What kind of man is he, Nick?
And let me tell you, I known Jared when he started, when he come out of a little place over there working a bicycle shop.
A bicycle shop,
that's right.
It.
He was working a bicycle shop, and I put him in the wrestling business and made him what he did. And truthfully, if anybody deserves the wrestling business, as far as the promotion, I think you deserve it better than anybody, because your grandfather was my partner for 42 years. That's a long time.
That's correct.
And we had a lot of good times together, and we made good money together. Roy is dead and gone now, but I'll tell you, I think his nephews and his grandchildren should inherit what his daddy should have.
Well, I think you're right, Nick. I think if Roy's laying over there in Dyer, Tennessee, in his grave now, he's probably face down, because if he's been shambled for his business by a jerk good-for-nothing like Jerry Jarrett, I want to clear up right now that without a doubt that, Jarrett, you can bring up papers, man, and you can show them to the end of the world of where you paid my father. You can say what you want to, but I think right now we've cleared up the whole situation, because people know in this area, Welch and Goulis, for years and years and years, the greatest promoter living on the face of the earth right now is sitting right next to me right here, and I'll tell you what, it's a happy day for me, because one day I want the opportunity to be just half the promoter that you are, Nick Goulis.
You deserve, I know, 4 good towns, especially Memphis. J.J. stole Memphis from me.
Stole it out from under you.
He stole it, and that's when Lance Russell was doing the commentating, and what's called was doing the announcing, Dave Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Then he stole Chattanooga from me. He stole Birmingham from me, and a bunch of other towns. I can't name them, I got so many of them. So that's why I say, if anybody deserves to inherit the territory, or deserves the cities to promote in, you deserve it, Robert.
Well, thank you, Nick, and I can say a thank you for your time, and I'm going to tell you something there, and you remember it, Jarrett. You don't shamble people out of what belongs to them. You don't bring phony papers out in front of us, baby, and try to tell these wrestling fans out here who owns what, that right here we have cleared up the message. You bring that punk out here to fool with my business again, brother, and I'm going to promise you one thing, that punk of yours is going to wind up 2 ways. He's going down to the hospital, and he's going to stay there a long time, or I got a long box I'm going to put him in and sink him in the ground. He's not getting what's mine, Nick.
Exactly right. You're right. If you have to hurt him bad, you better do it to take your business. because y'all deserve every penny y'all get out of the wrestling business. Y'all work for it. Roy Welch and I, which was my partner for 42 years, he deserves to give his grandchildren this kind of business.
That's it. Closed issue. That settles it.
Sounds like Nick's having some trouble with his memory, too, huh?
Hey, whatchamacallit? Let's straighten it out right now, baby. My CWA, my beloved CWA. That's where it's going to stay, boys. We own this place. What do you think about it, Steve-O? What do you think about it, Texas, baby? How about it, Bradley? Come on, Daddy. How about it, Dutch? CWA, my beloved CWA.
Get him out of here. Well, what can you say? We'll be back here with more CWA Championship Wrestling.
Coming in May, the Renegade Cyclone Stampede.
Interesting match this past week, the Memphis Mid-South Coliseum, between Lord Humongous and the Master of Pain. Let's go to Roger Webb at ringside for a description of this match.
Grabs Humongous, picks him up, slams him on the table, picks the Master Pain up again, headbutt, down goes the Master Pain, a bloody mess. Now Humongous gets right in the rail, throws him out of the way. What a lick. Boy, and you can see the stars in the Master Pain's eyes, but look at the son of a gun come back. Trading rights, one right. I can take what you throw at me. Here comes Steiner and Lancaster. These guys would kill each other. Well, they're edging back toward the dressing room area as everybody follows them. We're out of the ring area altogether. We're out in the crowd here at the Coliseum area.
Well, the referee stopped the match, but it looks like Master of Pain didn't maybe do as well as you expected against Lord Humongous, huh?
Evidently, you're not looking at the same tape I am. We beat that steroid king like a stepchild. And what do? They send out their little Boy Scout troop to take up for the idiot. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They stick their nose in our business again, and they're going to feel the wrath of Ronnie Gossett. The Master of Pain is the champion. We don't need any help. He needs the help.
I tell you what, coming up this week, you have got Lord Humongous in a no time limit, no disqualification, lights out match.
You think I don't know that? I'm on top of this business. His lights are going out. That's the only lights going out. For all these idiots that's never seen a lights out match, that don't mean we turn every light out in the building. I hope they're not that stupid.
I think they know what a lights out match means. Well, we'll find out this week.
You'll
How about
find
that?
out. You just be there. His lights are going out, believe me.
Well, we'll see. We've got him coming in here right now for a match. I would appreciate it if you gentlemen would perhaps leave the area while Lord Humongous is in here for his match.
Oh, we'll leave, but we won't be far away, stupid.
Humongous coming into the area right now. He's going to be going against the Grappler. Look out, from behind. The Grappler jumps him. You know, we've seen that happen before in matches where a wrestler thinks he maybe doesn't have a very good game. That's usually when that happens. And I think I would have to agree with the Grappler that he doesn't have much of a chance going against Lord Humongous, who went toe-to-toe with the Master of Pain. Big body slam. Yeah, says the crowd. More. The Grappler. Up in the air on the shoulder of Lord Humongous. Humongous spins him around. Boy, he looked kind of like, you know how the seeds of a maple tree, you let them spin to the ground. Here's a count of 3. He gets it. Lord Humongous, there's a look at him right there. 54 seconds of action, gets the win over the Grappler. Still a most impressive appearance by Lord Humongous. Jeff Jarrett back out here. Jeff, you're smiling this time.
Right. I know it's not my time, but
Well, I don't look like a fool so bad after all. You know, I told you I'd have Jimmy Golden here, and he's here. But before I bring him out here, I want to lay this out on the table. Jimmy Golden was raised with Robert Fuller in Dyersburg, Tennessee, and all across the Mid-South as their daddies were growing up, and both of them were wrestling. He's first cousins with Robert Fuller. His mother and Robert's daddy are brother and sister. So that means, Robert, Jimmy Golden knows you better than anybody else. And Jimmy, come on out here, and these people want to hear your side of the story. Here he is, Dave. I'm just going to step aside.
Hey, there he is. Jimmy Golden is here. You're right. All right. Jimmy, Jeff says you have something to say about this thing with Fuller.
I appreciate this time to clear up a few matters that's going to make me feel better. First of all, let me just start by saying that Robert Fuller, a lot of times, you know, we had a few differences, differential, as Rob called it, and he always said that things was going to be his way or there wasn't going to be any way at all. So he had this big plan about how he was going to steal CWA away from Jerry Jarrett and the rest of the owners, whoever they might be. And I said, this is what we call the line right here, Robert. If it's going to be your way, then I'm going to have to drop you as a tag team partner, and I bowed out. Now, he said some things about our family. Roy Welch, my grandmother, Roy Welch is my granddaddy. I lived with my grandfather on a farm in Yorkville, Tennessee, and I'm very proud to be his grandson. The man was a great man. A lot of people liked him and respected him in this area. Him and Herb Welch, Lester Welch, Jack Welch, and all of them were respected a lot as far as I know around here. And I had a great deal of feelings for him myself, and I don't appreciate some of the things that he's been saying about him, that he was senile. He was not senile when he died. And by the way, he's laying face up, Robert. And I'd just like to say that as far as I know, that Jerry Jarrett, his dad, and Robert's dad, Buddy Fuller, when they made a deal, Jerry paid him for his part of this business, and everybody was happy. The whole thing was settled, and that was all under the bridge. And
we saw the papers. They were both happy at the time. Is that what you're saying?
That's true. And so Robert has come out here, and he's made a lot of statements about our grandparents, and him and his brother and his dad were Fullers. They called themselves Fuller in the wrestling business. They didn't go with the Welch name. They had different things to say about matters that came up, and they didn't always agree with what the Welches said, or they had different things, ways of putting things, and they just don't always say everything that they can for the Welches. Anyway, I'd like to say that the Welch side of the family that I know always stood up on a deal. They never welched out on it just because their name was Welch, and that I was very proud of them. And as far as I know, Jeff, that this thing was cleared and dried a long time ago, and nothing belongs to Robert Fuller.
What's happened to you, man? Did you lose your brains? Have you gone somewhere and lost your brain? Maybe the Alabama River flooded over down there and high water got into your head or something, because you're not thinking. You're out here telling lies, boy, and you know good and well they're lies. How can you bring him out here to try to stir up my family?
Don't come out here and insult me and call me a liar.
Let me tell you something. If you're going to come out here and meddle in my business, you should have thought of that before you dropped that belt. Before we had to give the belts up, son. You should have thought of it a long time ago. You're a bare-faced liar, or you wouldn't be out here meddling what is my family's business. I told you what I want to. If you come out here... Wait a second. We're cousins. There ain't no sense in fighting. Listen. Hell, we're cousins, Jimmy. We've been cousins for a long time. Get in here.
Oh, come on, Robert. Mantell nailing Jeff Jarrett. Golden run into the ring post by cousin Robert Fuller. Yeah. Jimmy Golden out here on his own. Jeff didn't ask him to come out here. And Jimmy called him earlier in the week and said, I'll clear this up for you. I know what happened. And Robert's not telling the truth. And it's giving the Welches a bad name. Here's Lord Humongous coming out with Frankie Lancaster and John Paul to help him out. And there goes Fuller. There goes Dutch Mantell. We'll be back here in a moment.
Coming in May, the Renegade Cyclone Stampede.
everyone. I'm Roger Webb with Championship Wrestling with a reminder that on Sunday, May 7th, we're going to be in Cannelton, Indiana at the gym right there at 3 p.m. That's when it's going to begin. Sponsored by the JCs. You can pick up your tickets at the Lewis Sport IGA, the Cannelton Bank, Citizens Bank of Tell City, Kentucky, the National Bank of Tell City. You're going to see Dutch Mantell, Jeff Jarrett, and a big Cyclone Stampede match. Then in Owensboro, Kentucky, this Wednesday at the Sports Center there, listen to this big card. A CWA tag title match, the Mason-Dixon Connection going against Brian Lee, Robert Fuller, and Sylvia. A big CWA title match between Jeff Jarrett, Dutch Mantell, and the big main event is going to be a lights-out match. No disqualification, no time limit. Humongous versus a Master of Pain and Ronnie P. Gotcha.
You know I like it because CWA's blasting off, baby. You got your big Campbellton, Indiana. You got yourself a Cyclone Stampede. That money's coming to the stable because we're stampeding, baby. Then you're going to Owensboro. Owensboro belongs to me and my baby here, you know. What we're going to do in Owensboro is a lights-out match, and let me clean it up for all you people that don't understand nothing about lights out. I don't mean you're going to need your flashlights to see the match. That means that squeamy Jarrett ain't got guts enough to come down there and put a match out on the line, Daddy. That means that my man, Master of Pain, and my ally, Ronnie P. Gossett the Fourth, is going to bring it to you in Owensboro. And then I heard you belly aching out here. I heard you belly aching tag team champions. Don't put your picture in them belts too quick, boys. Tracy Smothers, we slapped your tail against that mat. You bled a puddle of blood, and then I stomped it dry. Now let me tell you something, son. You come to my town, you better get ready to fight it out again, because what you're carrying is my tag title belt, and Jimmy Golden, or ain't nobody going to be able to help you, because I'm going to bloody you up and stomp you dry one more time.
John Paul up in the ring right now with David Elder for tag team action coming up here. Of course, John Paul, one half the CWA tag team champions, along with his partner Tracy Smothers. Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson coming out for the match. That's Jimmy Golden coming back.
Let me just say one thing. You just proved what kind of Welch you are, Robert Andy. That's what I call you, boy. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to call Eddie Marlin out here and ask him to put me on a card or change any card or anything, because that probably ain't going to happen. What I will promise you, though, punk, is I'm going to whip you. I'm going to be at the matches when they come match time, boy. I'm going to be right there in the Coliseum if I have to buy me a ticket, boy. And we're going to finish this fight out here that you just started, geek. I'm going to whip you, boy, like your mama should have whipped you a long time ago, boy. And as far as for that hag that you bring to the ring with you that you call a ballet, I got something for her, too. I've rode up and down the road with them people, Dave Brown, and I never heard such belly aching and whining in all my life. Well, now, boy, we're going to settle this match that you just started out right here. We're going to finish it when it comes match time. Be ready for it.
All right, Jimmy says Jimmy will be there at the arena even though he's not asking for a card change. He says he'll be there and he'll get Fuller. The referee says, let's go. Here we go with expiration of time, tag team match. In the ring right now, it's John Paul with Big Action Jackson. Action Jackson out of Texarkana, Arkansas. John Paul out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And had a good drop kick by John Paul, put Action Jackson on the mat. Action Jackson back on his feet very quickly. John Paul over to the corner, makes the tag on his partner, David Elder. David out of Memphis at 210. Action Jackson's partner, someone we haven't seen in the area in quite some time, but he is, until recent days, he is now back. Talking about the Dirty White Boy. But he's out of Bucksnort, Tennessee, 242 pounds worth. Tell you what, he can wrestle. We know about it. Tag has just been made, and he steps into the ring right now. He is the latest signee of the Stud Stable. Joined Robert Fuller's group. Oh, big chop. Referee warning the Dirty White Boy about using his fist. Elder reaching for the tag. John Paul over in the corner. Long, long way for the tag. It's about 10 feet or so, but looks like 10 miles right now. Oh, a big, powerful clothesline by Action Jackson. Jackson. The two stud stable members controlling things here. We're a minute and a half into the action. Remember, this one is expiration of time. Might be just this one fall, might be 3 or 4. We'll have to check our time. We do have a special announcement or two that have been made today. Coming up around the arenas around the territory. The Dirty White Boy picking up David Elder. There's a tag made on Action Jackson. As I said, we've already made several announcements today. Later on, we are going to give you more details on the Renegade Cyclone Stampede, which is going to be coming up during the month of May. There's a count of 1. No, he won't go for the pin. You know, I don't know if he could have held him for the 3 count or not. It looked like maybe he could have, but Action Jackson picked him up, did not go for the 3 count. He's over the corner and makes the tag on the Dirty White Boy. John Paul watching everything from the corner. He would really like to get in there, but David Elder a long, long way from the tag. And, of course, the team of Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson keeping him away from that tag. Reverse neck breaker. Well, that can be devastating. There's a cover. This might be it. 1. So he picked him up at the 2 count. Anthony. John Paul coming in there right now, but sent back out. Dirty White Boy picked him up at the count of 2. He had no intention of going for the 3 count. Action Jackson. Boy, he just forced him down to the mat. They are just really unnecessarily working over this young wrestler in there right now. No excuse for it whatsoever. Dirty White Boy back in after the tag. Boy, let him get back on his feet, and then here he comes, full speed from behind, rolls him over. There's a cover, 1, 2, and 3. Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson in 4 minutes, 16 seconds get themselves a victory here as they really, really hammered David Elder. John Paul over to help him up. All he wants to do is to help Elder out of the ring and get out of here. We're going to take a break. We have more coming up, and we'll be back to that in just a moment. Still got time, I think, for another match here, but we want to take a couple of minutes because, Eddie, we've been kind of telling the folks that coming up, the Renegade Cyclone Stampede, but we haven't had many of the details on it. You can fill us in on some of that right now, I understand.
Well, to start off with, Dave, that's got to be one of the wildest matches anybody has ever seen. I've been around a long, long time, and this is probably going to be the wildest night of action, any matches anywhere. First thing you do, you take every man that wrestles on the card that night, you give them a number, 1 through whatever amount of men is there.
Understand they draw a number.
Draw the number.
Yeah,
you don't know who's going to get one number. Then the first 2, 1 and 2, they'll start to match out.
All right.
Every minute after that, you'll send another wrestler to the ring. 3, 4, 5, just every minute. Okay, you don't know. It might be 2 partners in there to start it off with. Every man's for himself. It's Thunderdome rules. You wear anything to the ring you want to wear. You carry anything to the ring you want to wear, want to use.
Baseball bats, brass knucks, anything like that.
And the last man standing is a winner, and he will be presented by Renegades a check for $10,000.
Oh, my goodness, with a prize like that, I can't imagine what kind of night it's going to be.
Everything will take place. I mean, it's the rules, Thunderdome rules. You can be pinned, thrown over the top rope, or submit.
All right.
$10,000, you can look for anything to happen.
Starts out with 2 people. 1 wrestler is at it every minute. You get a bunch of them in there. You're eliminated by either being pinned, submission, or thrown over the top rope. Last man, you can use anything, wear anything.
That's right.
Last man standing gets
$10,000 from the Renegades people.
Should be quite a night, Eddie.
Like I say, you don't know who's going to wrestle who to start because you draw a number. Nobody knows what number you're going to get.
Nor in what order they're going to be going to the ring.
Right, and it's going to be wild.
Sounds like a good one. You've done good, sir. Thank you very much.
Renegade did good.
Very good. Hey, we do have time for some more action, Eddie, so I think we'll do that. Get them back in here for a second fall right now. First fall of action. Well, first fall went to the Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson. John Paul coming in here right now. David Elder, I didn't know if he was going to be able to continue or not after that first fall, but he looks like he's doing all right. He's going to have to start. I don't envy that task, certainly. After the beating he took from both Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson in the first fall. But he's back. What he needs to do, I would say, is probably go for that quick tag on John Paul if he can do it as soon after contact as possible. Well, he may not have a chance. Dirty White Boy nailed him with a right fist, even though he told the referee that, he used a forearm. It wasn't. It was a fist. We could see it from our angle here. There's a tag made. Action Jackson will be coming in. Jackson and the Dirty White Boy, big, mean. They're members of the stud stable. That should tell you a lot right there. They are one fall up in this expiration of time match. Whoa, Action Jackson. Look at this, back under the rope. Now he comes with that big right boot. Well, this guy is huge. Action Jackson weighs in over 300 pounds, about 311. He's wrestling, David Elder weighs in 101 pounds less than that. There's the upper arm. Unfortunately, this one is beginning as a repeat of the ending fall number 1, in which Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson just pretty well dominated their opponent, keeping him away from the corner, and the tag on John Paul. John Paul started the first fall, and of course John Paul with more experience and also a championship wrestler. Holds half of the CWA tag titles right now. Better equipped perhaps to deal with the likes of the Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson. He doesn't get a chance this time. Elder reaching for the tag. John Paul has to go back outside. I don't know if he missed the tag or did not get the tag or exactly what happened there. I was blocked from this angle over here. At any rate, David Elder has to stay in there. Action Jackson. Jumps him backwards. A little over 2 minutes gone in this second fall of action, and we're getting very close to the expiration of time here. Action Jackson picked him up. Thought he was going to use a snap suplex, but he didn't. He forced him right back down to the mat. Count of 2 and 3. This one is over. And it's 2 straight falls for the team of Action Jackson and the Dirty White Boy over David Elder and John Paul. 2 straight falls. Jerry Calhoun, a referee, holding his mouth. Looks like he got hit in the mouth with a stray arm or something there. Well, that wraps that one up. I saw that. I can't tell you I liked it, however. Jeff Jarrett in here today. He won his match. Boy, he got us off to a quick start here as he got a quick victory over the Shadow. Dutch Mantell, a winner. Also Detroit Demolition, Robert Fuller, and Brian Lee defeating Frankie Lancaster and Chris Frazier. And then it was Humongous defeating the Grappler very, very quickly. Dirty White Boy and Action Jackson, as you just saw, getting 2 straight falls over the team of David Elder and John Paul. Well, there's going to be more next week. We hope you'll be joining us for more of that wild CWA Championship Wrestling. Until then, I'm Dave Brown. So long, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of Championship Wrestling.